Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing my out-of-box review for the HGUC Gunpla Evolution Project version of the Zeta Gundam. So again, if you guys have been familiar with the HG Revive line that's been going on for about the past year and a half or so, and then we've got a nice handful of kits from that line. That line is now apparently done, and Bandai has started this kind of new version line kind of thing called the Gunpla Evolution Project that is apparently going to be spanning HG, RG, MG, and RE100 like that. So we're supposed to be seeing more, but at the moment of filming this, haven't seen anything more yet. Just have the Zeta Gundam here, and I gotta say it's nice. I mean, if you've built any of the Revive kits, it's basically very similar to like building a Revive kit. It's not like a perfect version of this kit, I don't think. Whereas like the other versions, like the Revive Gyan was a good example. I thought that one was like basically perfect. The Revive RX-782, that kit was basically perfect, exactly how it should be. This one I think is a really nice version of the HG Zeta Gundam. It's probably the best version of a 1/144 scale Zeta that we have, but it's not perfect. There's a couple things that I think, just a couple of really small things, but I think they're kind of worthwhile complaints to be made about this kit. So overall, the construction is pretty nice. Again, I'm not really the hugest Zeta fan, but there's definitely some things that I can appreciate in this. Of course, it does transform. I'll talk about that here in a minute. I'll transform it and show that to you guys. But overall, yeah, it's a pretty fun kit to put together. There was a pretty large sticker sheet, unfortunately, and that's kind of like one of my biggest complaints about the kit. Most of the stickers, not too bad, but a handful of them are pretty awful and kind of unacceptable, if you ask me. The colors that it's molded in as well are also pretty nice. Just the red is very normal red. The blue is a really nice shade of blue, as I said in the unboxing. It seems to have a really tiny, very tiny tint of purple to it, so it's not like a really toy kind of looking blue. And then the white and black are all just pretty standard as well. So the colors it's molded in are nice. That's good if you're not planning on painting it. Of course, if you want to paint it, you can paint it in whatever color that you want. So let's take a look at the kit a little bit more close up. You can probably see the colors a little bit better here as well. That blue is looking really nice. So of course we have stickers for the eyes. If you remember from the unboxing again, the eyepiece is molded in clear green. So you can just paint the black around that if you want. We do also have like those stickers that were included with all like the Revive kits, where it's just like some just plain mirror foil stickers that you can stick behind the clear part to then give you some extra depth behind the eyes. So I'll use those later whenever I paint the kit, but just threw on just the regular eye sticker on here for now. Sticker there for the camera as well, front and back. The head, I can try to show you the back of the head without taking off the V-fin, but while we're on the subject of the V-fin, I did sharpen up the V-fin as well. It does have safety flags on the back of there, on like the small part and the long regular part. So it's 4 safety flags on there, so it took a little while to just sand those down, but I think it's worth it. It definitely looks a lot better once those are sharpened up. As for the head articulation, it can go back to, it like kind of goes to there, but then it's kind of pops back. So up, not really all that much, unfortunately. I think it's just because the yellow color piece there is just not quite wide enough. The head is kind of getting stuck in that. But down, though, is perfectly fine. I have no problems if you want to do a super far down looking pose. Really nice just detail and color separation here in the chest, like the gray piece poking out through there. And then the nice yellow vents that you add in there. This mechanical detail here on the shoulders as well. So the shoulders, one thing that I do find a little bit annoying, this part here that pops in and out, that's like for the transformation, but it's a little bit annoying because just when you're handling the kit, you always are going to be pushing that in. You have to remember to pull that out before you want to actually just like set the pose or take a picture or anything, whatever you're going to do. So the shoulder articulation is really good. You can get that whole side part to move up, and then this flap here on the shoulder moves as well. And get the arm nice and far up there, but still it seems like it's still going to be a little bit limited there, unfortunately. But the arm is going to move like normal, just rotation there at the top, double joint here at the elbow, and then the wrist is just on a ball joint. You can also move this forward. Let me see if we pull this like that. Can move that shoulder joint forward as well. So it's a pretty complicated shoulder joint for an HG kit. It's kind of more similar to even like a master grade style shoulder joint, but kind of shrunken down. You can see if you pull that out, you can get that really nice and far forward. So the shoulder joint, I will give them credit, is really nice. They did highlight that on the box. but they did do a really good job with that. So that's pretty nice. Nice detail there on the inside of the arm as well. And then here on the back of the arm, this little door does actually open up, and we have the little missiles or grenades there in gray. So those are nice. Those are molded. Again, for those people who don't paint, it's nice that those are molded in gray instead of blue. It helps those just kind of stand out, and it's a nice feature to have just a really small little thing like that to be included in an HG kit. Is pretty cool if you want to actually have it shooting those. So it does have those on both arms, and you do have these parts here, which is like, it's just a really simple part that you just add onto the arm. I guess it's for like the grenade ammo. So if you want, you can just plug that onto the back of the arm. Definitely bulks up the arm a little bit, but then if you do that, then you can't actually hold the shield on this arm. So I'm going to take that off because that's where actually the shield plugs on. But you can do that on one or either or both of the arms, however you want to do it. Here in the torso section, some really nice articulation here as well. You get a nice forward bend there. It's kind of annoying, honestly, moving around the backpack keeps getting in the way. But it's a nice forward bend there, and it does actually stay in place pretty well. It's not like leaning back. Back is not very much because the backpack is just affixed in this angle. See these wings here on the backpack? These two side parts are pretty much fixed in this position. You can sort of rotate them side to side like that, and you can see my whole back skirt's falling off there. You can rotate them a little bit like this, but you can't really change the angle of them at all because they're fixed. They're in a fixed angle to be like perpendicular with the torso. So you can't really bend the torso back because then the wings are crashing into stuff. But while the back skirt fell off, I'll show this to you because it's kind of hard to see with the backpack on. But some really nice detail here on the back skirt as well. We have individual gray parts for the little thrusters. On the inside of the back skirt as well, lots of detail there. And so that is actually really quite nice, and it can move. Most HG back skirts do not move usually. It's not really a very big important feature, but it's something to point out, I suppose. Front skirts here, really wide open space. That's one thing about this kit where, like, if you really wanted a more detailed version, recommend the RG, but I think this one is much more stable, so I'll talk more about that later. But if this one obviously doesn't have a whole lot of surface detail on it, and that may be something that a lot of people maybe are kind of finding a little bit disappointing about this kit. But the front skirts will move separately. Side skirts move up and down, as you could just see there. Underneath the skirt there, we got a hip joint that will swing side to side, as well as left to right. So a nice hip joint in there. You can rotate the legs at the top, get a nice double joint here in the knee, and some details here on the thigh leg part there. Some nice orange plastic here at the bottom of the legs. So this is orange plastic. That's a sticker. I think they could have made that so that part was also cut out, but it's not too bad anyway. So plastic sticker inside here, plastic on the side of the arm. I forgot to point this out for you guys, sorry. Those are stickers there, orange bits on the side of the arm, stickers. Orange bits there for that little vent sticker. There's an orange piece at the end of the vent, but then on the sides of that part, those are stickers. So a lot of these little orange stickers, those for an HG kit, those are to be expected. I'm not really going to complain too much about those. The ankle transformation or ankle articulation is as you would expect. The lower legs come down quite low, so you can't really move it side to side too well, a little bit, but forward and back is not going to be too much of a problem as you can bend the toe like that. Again, that's for the transformation. This front flap will move up and down, and the back part we do have a gray piece in there for that thruster in the back of the leg as well. And like that's, again, for the transformation, the leg will kind of collapse. So the leg is a little bit wonky, but you just kind of have to make sure it's extended down. So we have this part is connected here to like the foot. You can push that up and down. Just make sure when it's in its mobile suit mode that that's pressed all the way down so you can get the foot clear of the lower leg and it can stand perfectly fine. So again, here on the backpack, the stabilizer does move, but the wings don't really move. You can, I guess, extend the wings a little bit. Something like that if you wanted, but it's not really supposed to do that. So we'll just put that back in here for the moment. But just to give you an idea of what else comes with the kit, we have a whole bunch of parts here for the transformation. So these are all parts that you use for the transformation of the kit. We do also have a couple of landing gear parts. So these are, again, for when it's transformed in its Wave Rider mode, you can have it just standing using these landing gear parts. That's actually pretty cool. Do have the beam sabers as well. just gray handles and pink beam saber effect parts. Not really anywhere to store these on the kit, unfortunately, so you just have to keep them separate. Then we have just the beam rifle. Here is just got the sticker, orange stickers there on the side, and then 2 stickers for the cameras, one on there, the main camera, and then one on the front. This main camera doesn't fold down like you may expect it to, and like it does in other versions. The handle, though, does fold forward like that, again, for the transformation. But anyway, it's pretty nice, molded all in black there, which is gray for the handle and gray for the barrel. That can be just popped into the hand very easily. In terms of the hand options, this is all you get, just those holding hands. That's it. So again, like at least one open expressive hand would have been nice. But we do get a fair amount of accessories with this kit. So moving on, we do have the shield here. This one also a couple of orange stickers on there, and then one big red sticker covering this center part. That's one of my complaints of a sticker that I think should have been a piece. I think that red part could have been a separate part, but unfortunately that's just handled by a sticker. We have these nice little grenades here in the shield. It's a separate piece, and then this again just connects onto the back of the arm very simply. And then we have the Hyper Mega Launcher, and this is also a really cool weapon. So this is going to be very tall. As you can see, compared to the kit, it's quite a bit taller. So it is pretty much mostly all molded in blue, except the end of the barrel there, and then the handles. So of course these parts here on the side fold out, and then we have the handles on each side that can fold out like that. And then we have the main handle underneath, which we fold this part forward, and then we can pull out the main handle, which is gonna be here like that. For that, also, and this does extend like that, so you can extend that to make it even longer. And I forgot to point that out with the beam rifle as well. The beam rifle also extends. So here is the short form and long form. Short and long. Even the long, just standard beam rifle is almost as tall as the kit. It comes up to the top of the chest there, so it's just one head height shorter than the kit itself. Now, here's what the kit is going to look like when it's all transformed, and with the rifle on top and the cannon on the bottom. Now, about the landing gear, if you want to use the landing gear, you have to use that with the Hyper Mega Launcher. So if you wanted to give the Hyper Mega Launcher to a different kit and have this kit just kind of standing with the landing gear on, just like on your shelf or something, you can't. So just have that in mind. Also, I gotta say about the transformation, it's relatively simple. I mean, you just follow the steps in the manual, and it's really not all that complicated. And the best thing is that it feels very, very solid. Now, I guess the important thing that a lot of people are more concerned about is how solid it feels in mobile suit mode, and I thought that was actually pretty fine. Like I said, the legs, it takes, I mean, it's a little bit tricky to get the angles lined up just because of the backwards bend of the knee. So it takes a second to get everything lined up exactly if you want to do something like very totally symmetrical, but the mobile suit mode also seems fine, but just in terms of the transformed Wave Rider mode here, I think it looks pretty great, and it is very solid as well. So I gotta say, if you guys wanted a transformed Zeta Gundam, this is definitely going to be a really nice version for you. Now, about the fact that it's a parts forming and not a fully transformable kit, when this kit was first announced, some people thought that, oh, maybe it's going to be a fully transformable HG kit, and that would have been nice. I don't think so, actually. Personally, I'm glad this is a parts forming kit, not a fully transforming kit, because if anyone who's built the RG knows, and I haven't, but from what I've heard from everyone who has built the RG, is that it is a mess. And even the HG kit can be a little bit tricky. I mean, sorry, the Master Grade can also be a little bit tricky just because of that transformation. It just weakens the kit kind of overall in mobile suit mode. Whereas if you have a parts forming kit like this, that's not an issue at all. So I'm totally fine with it being a parts forming kit. I'm actually really glad that it is. You do have a few leftover parts. I mean, basically like of the body, you just like have this much left over. You have the head and like the front skirt and just like some parts of the torso. That's pretty much it. So you have some extra stuff that then you have to find something else to do with. But overall, fantastic transformation. Right, so as I'm finding out, it is also plenty solid enough in mobile suit form, so if you had that concern, then don't be concerned, because if posing this kit seems to be going perfectly fine, and I'm not really having too much of any issues, except for like in the stomach, where like the lower half of the torso and the bottom half of the torso are connected. It's like via one like ball joint there in the center of the torso, and if that pops out, as it did for me, and as I imagine it might for some of you guys as well. Once that pops out, it's a little bit kind of hard to get that back in without like taking apart the torso entirely, so that's a little bit annoying. But otherwise, my biggest complaint and my one major complaint about this kit is the red on the wings. If you saw in the unboxing video, all the red you see on the wings on the backpack is all made up of stickers. The red part on the center, on the stabilizer, that is an actual piece, but on the wings, that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stickers on each wing, and I really wish and think that that could have been red parts. So again, it's just really unfortunate that the Zeta Gundam is one of the most famous Gundams ever and most well-known and most liked Gundams in all of Gundam. And this is the very first kit in the Gunpla Evolution Project. I would have thought that this kit is really amazing quality. I mean, despite this already, the kit is really nice, but I think it just would have been perfect, basically perfect, if those red parts on the wings would have been red. All the other stickers I can forgive because they're really tiny little color apps that you wouldn't expect them to be parts on an HG. But on this, I could have seen those being parts, and I really think the Bandai should have done that. Of course, they're very easy parts to mask because it's just like straight lines. It's really easy to just throw some masking tape on there if you're going to be painting. But for people who don't paint, those stickers go on there pretty okay, and they're on the backpack, so they're not really going to see them too much. But it's just unfortunate that Bandai just didn't go just that extra step just to make those separate parts. Alright, so that is pretty much going to do it for my review of this kit. If you're a fan of the Zeta Gundam and you're looking for another new version of the kit, there has been quite a few, but if you're wanting to get why not one more, well then definitely check this kit out. It's definitely worth it, and it's got some really cool stuff. If you're wondering about the weight issues of the Hyper Mega Launcher, as you can see, it is able to hold it up with two hands there. With one hand, I think it would definitely be probably drooping a little bit, but with two hands, it can hold it perfectly fine. Personally, I kind of prefer it in just like the standing and holding up the rifle just kind of like vertical, not like actually in like a firing pose. That's kind of like my favorite thing for like a really huge gun like this. So, but you can do it in some firing poses like this. If you have an action base, you can throw it up on there. So that is pretty much going to be it, guys. If you do have any other questions or comments, you can leave those down below as always. And just thank you guys so much for watching. That has been the Zeta Gundam. See you guys next time. Bye bye.